Peg and Don Welsman, the story of two high school sweethearts whose lives began in the Boston area during the Great Depression, who became engaged during World War II, and whose 61-year marriage produced 4 daughters, 8 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Margaret passed away at 95 from natural causes. Don, at 84, died 11 years earlier from cancer. Here is their story. Margaret Rita Galvin, known as Peg, was born March 4, 1930, in Malden, Massachusetts. Her parents were Alice and Timmy Galvin, second-generation immigrants from Canada and Ireland. Donald, known as Don, was born September 9, 1927, also in Malden, the son of Frank and Marion Welsman. Both were born at the start of the Great Depression, which began in 1929 and lasted throughout most of the 1930s. Banks failed, businesses closed, and unemployment soared to 25% at its peak. Millions of Americans lost their jobs and homes. Many could not feed their families without assistance. Bread lines and soup kitchens were commonplace. Life was especially difficult for Peg, who was the third of 4 children. The Galvins were poor. Her father, Timmy, like most men during the Great Depression, took whatever job he could find. He also struggled with alcoholism throughout his life. Peg's mother, Alice, worked as a custodian, cleaning offices in Boston at night. The kids slept on the floor of each level while Alice cleaned, only to be awakened when it was time to move to the next floor. This childhood sleep disruption caused lifelong insomnia for Peg. Timmy and Alice often struggled to feed their family. So much so that one story that Peg shared was that her mother served Peg's pet chicken, Gimpy, for dinner one evening. Life was easier for Don. His father, Frank, was a successful banker, city councilman, and pillar of the community. He was president of the Malden Historical Society, an incorporator of Malden Hospital, and a long list of other civic positions. His career at First National Bank of Malden lasted 50 years without interruption, except for his service during World War I, when he served in the Army. Frank married Marion Shaw Champlin in 1919, and they had 2 sons, Howard and Donald Franklin. Marion was a beautiful redhead, slim and petite, who enjoyed stylish clothes. She was devoted to her 2 sons and family life. Don and his older brother, Howard, lived in a comfortable home on Robert Terrace in Malden. The family had a country home in Belmont, New Hampshire, affectionately called Welwyn. Even though life was comfortable for the Welsmans, the Great Depression impacted Frank. He always feared another financial collapse and devoted himself to work and saving. He swore off drinking at the age of 23, and he could be miserly with his money. This caused friction between him and Don, who loved having fun and spending money. Peg and Don met in their teens. Peg attended all-girls Catholic Cheverst and Don at Malden High School. Peg was beautiful, lively, and highly intelligent. It was love at first sight. Like many young men at the time, Don felt called to serve in World War II. He enlisted in the Navy in 1943, at the age of 17. People today would ask, why would a boy from an affluent family enlist to fight in a war he might not ever return from? The answer can be explained by this quote from Tom Brokaw in his book, The Greatest Generation. They answered the call to help save the world from the 2 most powerful and ruthless military machines ever assembled, instruments of conquest in the hands of fascist maniacs. They faced great odds and a late start, but they did not protest. When Don enlisted in the Navy, he served in the Pacific and Guam, where his crew shot down 7 kamikaze pilots aboard the naval destroyer Ingersoll. He later served in Japan, then at Pearl Harbor, and finally in China as part of a peacekeeping force against Chairman Mao. World War II ended in 2 stages. In Europe on May 8, 1945, following Nazi Germany's surrender, and in September 1945, after Japan's surrender. Korea, which had been a Japanese colony, was divided by the Soviet Union and the United States into North and South. Don re-enlisted in the Navy for another 4 years in 1947. He was assigned to the aircraft carrier Princeton as a radio man, using Morse code. He then served on the USS McKean in 1949 when the Korean War broke out. Don was assigned to anti-submarine service in Korea. At that time, the US and the United Nations were assisting South Korea against the Communist North, which had moved into their territory and claimed control. North Korea was assisted by Communist Chairman Mao's China and Joseph Stalin's Soviet Union, who sought to expand communism. In December 1950, the McKean was assigned to protect the Valley Forge aircraft carrier in Korea when Don detected an unknown submarine signal. The sub turned out to be Russian. When they had the submarine in range, they depth-charged it. The Russians fired at the McKean, but just missed it. The McKean fired back and blew up the submarine. Again, this was December 1950. The Cold War. The Russians, caught in forbidden South Korean waters, never acknowledged the sub. The Truman White House ordered the crew of the McKean to take an oath of secrecy, which they kept until 1998. The incident was described in the book, The Untold Story of American Submarine Espionage. Details about the secret war, now declassified, can be seen today on Secrets of War, episodes 18 and 19 on Prime Video. After his second tour, Don returned to Malden to marry Peg. Although intermarriage between Protestants and Catholics was frowned upon at the time, they had the good judgment to tie the knot. Don took architecture classes at Boston College and MIT. He was artistically gifted but never enjoyed academics. He also began working in his lifelong profession, sales, which suited Don's extroverted personality. The first of 4 daughters, Marian Alice, was born in 1957. Shortly afterward, Don took a sales position in Burlington, Vermont. Annie was born in 1964 and Dawn was born in 1966. Dawn was transferred to Western Massachusetts and Aaron was born in 1971. These were the busy family years of kids, work, and being a typical suburban family. Donald's last work transfer came in 1981 to Colorado. In stark contrast to severe New England, Colorado offered open skies, majestic mountains, and sunshine. Don and Peg loved it. Peg began a long and happy career as a book editor for Fred Rothman, a publisher of legal books. Don continued his career in sales. Weddings for the girls followed, along with grandchildren. Katie Linehan was first, followed by Joey and Patrick Linehan, Kendall DeWall, Keith Jr. and Brendan Hughes, Michael and Ryan Murphy. The grandkids were a source of great pride and joy to Don and Peg. Throughout their lives, Peg and Don were colorful personalities. Don was never without his video camera or constant jokes. He was the least politically correct person anyone ever knew. He kept a drum set and attempted to learn the bagpipes in his 70s. He had a deep love of American history, loved books, and watching the History Channel. He was deeply devoted to and protective of his 4 daughters. Peg never lost her Boston accent or affection for politics. In her youth, she campaigned for John F. Kennedy and was an early champion for the rights of African Americans and women in the workplace. Her cousin John Dempsey became the governor of Connecticut. CNN was her constant companion, and she never missed an opportunity to talk politics or law. Peg saved Marion's life in 1979 when she took her to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Marion was just 22 at the time, but Peg recognized the signs of alcoholism that plagued her father. Marion has maintained continuous sobriety and enjoyed a 40-year career as a creative director, thanks to Peg's help. Heart problems and cancer threatened Don in his 60s. Peg continued to work part-time at Rothman until age 73, when she retired to take care of Don. Rothman hated to see her go. Elvis came by to wish her well. Don and Peg always stayed upbeat and never complained. They enjoyed traveling. And of course, there was the infamous motorhome. Don loved it. Peg, not so much. Don left us at age 84 in 2011 on Thanksgiving Day, his favorite holiday. He had beaten death many times before, but in the end, leukemia got him. He is buried at Fort Logan Cemetery. After Don's death, Annie welcomed Peg into her guest house and looked after her in every way. Later, when Peg became blind, Annie hired the kind-hearted Sally to help. Annie's career in social services made her an expert in navigating elder care. The family was also blessed with a wealth of medical knowledge. Dawnie, a registered nurse, and her husband, David King, Erin, a hospital administrator, and her husband, Scott Whitney. Granddaughter Katie, who is an accomplished registered nurse, was a tremendous help to Peg at the end of her life. Peg passed away at 95, almost 11 years to the day Don died. Don and Peg Welsman will never be forgotten. They will always be remembered by those who knew them, served with them, worked with them, and loved them. They are now reunited with Kendall, their parents, siblings, and friends on the other side. We look forward to seeing them again, and hope that when that day comes, the sound of Don's bagpipes will welcome us. Reggie will bark at us, and Peg, with her Boston accent, will ask us to sit with a cup of tea. Until then,